Hey Dave, what's going on, buddy?
What are you doing, Captain Al Clowers?
We just rolled in here to get some shrimp, some ghost shrimp for our trip. So stand by. I got the ghost shrimp pump from Promar, and we need some shrimp to go catch some bonefish.
Well, cool. I'm going to jump out of the screen here so everyone can see you while you're doing that.
All right.
So you can still hear me, everyone, but Captain Al's in the back bay of San Diego getting us some ghost shrimp. They're going to go fishing in the back bay. So keep an eye on what he's doing. That's that new Promar ghost shrimp pump that he talks about. You're getting to see it go full speed here. Going live. Those of you that are just joining us, Captain Al's in the back bay of San Diego getting some ghost shrimp for his day of fishing in the back bay. It looks a little nicer than it's been the last couple of days. Leave a comment. Let him know what you think. You need to know what he's doing. He's looking for ghost shrimp right now. This is about as live as it gets.
Hey Dave,
Yes.
can we click off for a minute?
Nope.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, you can. I'll talk to people. I'll get you off of there.
the grommet's messed up on this.
All right, everybody. So Captain Al's trying to fix up his ghost shrimp pump. Gang, I want to welcome y'all to fishing in the back bay with Captain Al Clowers here. We're going to be seeing what he's doing. He's trying to get some ghost shrimp right now. He's looking around in the back bay. It's normal as it goes when you're fishing. Sometimes things don't work out just right. He's got a little problem with his ghost shrimp pump. He's going to get it fixed up and be back with us here in just a minute. I want to let you all know that today on the show at 12 o'clock, we're going to have Chris Dunn, the fishing weatherman, going to be joining us. Used to be the weatherman in San Diego. He's going to be joining us to talk about this springtime weather in Southern California, what it's all about, what's going on. So I hope you join us for the podcast today at noon. But we're in the back bay with Captain Al Clowers right now, and he's trying to get that ghost shrimp pump fixed up. Well, let's go check on him and see what he's doing back there. Let's go look. What are you doing, Al? What's going on, buddy? What a beautiful day in San Diego Bay. Look at that. No, I don't see any wind. I don't see any white caps. Kind of cool. Kind of nice. We're just looking at the beautiful weather in San Diego Bay right now. It's kind of a nice day out there. Keep an eye out. You never know what might happen. This is live in San Diego Bay, gang. Anything could happen. You just don't know. While we're waiting for Al to get this going, gang, I want to talk about the new Promar / Your Saltwater Guide contest we have going on. Every month for the first 3 months, for the first 3 months of the season, we're going to give away over $200 worth of free gear from Promar Ahi. Best picture of rockfish caught with the squid squirt, diamond jigs, or Akara jigs. Only the first 3 months it's going to be slow rockfish fishing after that. Hey, Al, did you get it fixed?
No, what happened was the other pump, the wing nut, it's been in the boat bouncing around, so the wing nut backed off. So I have to go to my backup pump.
Okay, so no Promar pump. All right, here we go. There's a ghost shrimp.
You want to bring the bucket? There's one right there, a little muddy. Candy bait, buddy.
Doesn't get much realer than this, gang. This is live ghost shrimp fishing in the Back Bay.
Watch yourself. Don't want to get you all muddy. There's a bucket. Thank you. Crazy thing is you can't be afraid to get a little dirty when you're pumping shrimp. There you go. Oh, I got a little bit. That's all you need. Two.
All right.
Holes.
Now they've got
These
us.
are all bat ray spawning holes from the bat rays. These big round ones.
Can you cancel those flights? 10th? Yeah,
Stingy over here.
Barry's the 10th. It's like 2:30 or something. They know where flights are. They know we land at 1:05.
Walk back, you'll see a couple of them.
Okay, call them up again. We're set. So Captain Al's in the Back Bay of San Diego trying to find some ghost shrimp, gang. Keep an eye on it, what he's doing. And he had the new Promar ghost shrimp pump, but apparently it was in the boat bouncing around, so the wing nut came off. He's going to put that back together, so don't be discouraged. It's just what we're doing here. We're catching some ghost shrimp. What's wrong? What's wrong? Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look.
Guaranteed biter.
Yeah, Anthony, that's cool. Captain Al Clowers has been doing this for a living for 40 plus years. I'm sure he's kind of half a clue what he's doing.
Two. There you go, look. One, two, baby. That's what's supposed to happen. It's not easy pumping shrimp some days.
You always got to remember, Anthony, it's fishing. When anybody tells me they can guarantee you they can do it in this amount of time, that just lets me understand how much time they spent actually fishing for a living. So just take a deep breath and enjoy the show and watch it.
So over here, it kind of mellows out. They're like in a certain little area, kind of.
Gang, if you're just joining us, you're trying to figure out what's going on here. Captain Al has a trip today with a young man and his two boys, and they're out there trying to catch bait right now so they can run back to the back bay and do some of that bonefish fishing. So he's looking for candy right now, and we call candy ghost shrimp. So there you got one right there.
Alrighty.
So there you go. Hey, Captain Al, let those young men pick those things up. Making that old man Al bend over like that. Come on now. Are you guys seeing this over on YouTube or is it just on Facebook?
All right.
Yeah, Pablo, can you see it on YouTube? Anybody? Captain Al Clowers in the back bay of San Diego catching us some ghost shrimp for the big bone fishing trip today. It looks like the wind calmed down a little bit, right, Pablo?
There you go. Pick them up.
Just not gonna hurt you.
Just pick them up from the back like this.
Get you a little bit.
Yeah, that little claw is a little sharp.
Oh, good. Thanks, Josh. I don't know why we're not getting any of the comments from YouTube. That's kind of weird. Oh, well, just another glitch in the system.
Oh, there's one.
There's a good one right there.
Hey, grab by the
Oh,
rear.
yeah, there's a bonefish right there. Al's going to put on a magic show in a little bit, and he's going to turn all this stuff into bonefish.
Another one.
There's not much left of them, huh? Oh, there it is. Come on, buddy.
Work my way back once it gets to the top. We're gonna leave it later than 11:10.
11:02. There he is. Tried.
Like 10?
Feels about right, yeah.
Okay, we gotta go back that way.
Yeah, about 13.
Harder and harder to hook them over there. I don't know what's going on.
How we doing?
Doing all right. We're plucking along.
You're what?
We're plucking along, Adam. It's not easy.
Not with that pump.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting the comments on YouTube, gang. If you're leaving comments, I can't see them. But, yeah, Captain Al, we got a gigantic audience. Gigantic audience. We're in the back bay of San Diego getting ghost shrimp, you guys. That's what he's doing. And then he's going to take them and go fishing. All right. Yeah, we're going to stay with Captain Al the whole time. We're going to stay with the fishing part. We'll put the podcast off to the side. We'll just stay with Al fishing. This is a massive audience. This is incredible. They're in the back bay of San Diego right now. Captain Al and his charter, and they're trying to get ghost shrimp so they can go catch bonefish. Share this with all your friends and family. Let everybody know what's going on. And gang, I cannot see your comments on YouTube. I apologize for some reason. I can see the Facebook comments, but I can't see the YouTube comments.
Mud. Little holes right there. That bite that other stuff too.
Sorry about that, Josh. I don't know what's going on, but that's technology. We're still live. We still got a massive audience. We're in the back bay of San Diego catching ghost shrimp, and then we're going to take those and we're going to go catch whatever eats the ghost shrimp. Could be bonefish, could be all kinds of stuff. Stay with us here. Don't leave. You never know what's going to happen.
Mambo.
What is that? Is that on? Where's the real?
Yeah. You're not gonna do nothing. You keep it down the line. Look at that. This guy's kicking, boy.
Oh wow, that one, yeah, that's a fight.
You like it when that happens, right?
Yeah.
All right, gang, if you want to know what's going on. No, what those are all bat ray nesting sites. That's what you're seeing there. Those holes, those are from bat rays. They're spawning right now, and they make those little nesting sites at the minus tide right now. That's what you're seeing.
These gray holes, it's like an ant hole, right? They just dug it. Let's see if there's one in there. It's hard to pump up here though, if there's no water in it. You know? That's the problem.
Yeah, gang, we're going to be staying with Al for a while here. He's going to be out till about 3 o'clock today, so we're going to stay with them. What they're doing right now is they're getting the ghost shrimp, and then the fish don't really start happening until that tide starts to flow back into the bay. So right now it's time to catch bait, and then after that, and the water starts to flow, they'll take that bait into the back bay and catch a bunch of fish. I want to thank everybody that's watching us today. This is your Saltwater Guide with Captain Al Clowers, fishing the back bay of San Diego, California. We got people watching from all over the world. It's pretty spectacular. We got
18?
quite a few people watching right now, Captain Al. That's Captain Al's boat over there that you see on the screen. There it is. Thank you very much.
It's like Gilligan's Island out here, buddy.
Yeah, you're doing good. You're going to break a new record today. You got way more people watching you than Pablo had right now.
Really?
Oh my God, Al, it's a huge. You have 183 people watching live right now.
Cool. I want to thank everybody and thank Big Alex right here for holding my phone. He looked at me a little nervous at first. He said, "No problem, I got you."
You're doing a great job, Alex. Everybody's having a ball watching.
The pumping's a little rough today. Using my backup pump. I'm going to have to get another couple wing nuts to keep in the boat so the wing nut don't fall off.
Gang, if you want to join Captain Al Clowers in the back bay or out in the ocean, you want to go tuna fishing, bass fishing, yellowtail fishing, halibut, or in back bay bone fishing, there's his QR code up on the screen and his phone number. You can join Captain Al out there and have the time of your life and get involved in catching ghost shrimp too. He's getting quite a few in that bucket. Let's show everybody the bucket while Al's catching ghost shrimp. Look at that. There's the bait right there, gang. We need about 200 more.
Out of my feet.
Is that one in the tidal pool right there?
Oh, yeah, it looks possible.
Gang, if you check me out right now, I just came up on your screen. My monkey's watching Captain Al. That's Marley, my marmoset monkey there, watching Captain Al Clowers catching ghost shrimp in the back bay. Say hi to everybody, Marley.
Razorback clams, and you never know where you're going to pump. You guys having fun?
Yeah. So I assume razorback clams are sharp.
Yeah, they're sharp. A little bit of an adventure out here. It's not easy. Some areas, as you guys know, the viewers know, are easier to get them than others. I didn't have any time to go anywhere to get them yesterday, so Fortunately, this trip is where we worked it around the tide, and we can get some shrimp enough to catch some bonefish. These guys want to bow up on some sharks mainly, so we'll see what happens. There's one. What do we got up here in the tide pool? Sometimes they're up here. All right, Alex. Oh yeah. There you go. We'll give you a workout. Come here. They're all connected together. See that hole? Watch it. Watch that hole. There's like colonies now. Kind of like air, right? Yeah. Most of the time they're like that. A couple inches below the There's a Razorback clam. Razorback clam.
Oh, really?
Look at that. See that? These things, all the spotted bay bass, sand bass, everything in the bay eats these things whole.
Wow.
There you go. Now when the claw got to take off, so don't worry, he can't do that. Picking up more stuff, taking up fish, buddy. That's
just the
claw.
claw left over from the last one.
Another one right there.
Buddy.
That one making headway.
There, that's one.
Little baby one, it'll work.
Yep.
There he is.
Yep.
Definitely weigh out a little bit. Good job. Fish, buddy. one?
Yep.
There's one, a little tiny one. There's two. That one and that one. Okay. I think we're good. That's it. That's a wrap. About 25 of them. Go fishing now. There you go. Did they bring it back?
Yep. Thought so.
Grab your other thing. I don't know, I'm looking now. I think it's over there. Yeah, it's still over there. I gotta go get it.
Here, you're in. I'll go grab it.
Take this phone. Alright. That's over.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Stand.
That's an adventure, right?
Oh, I wish we got more than that.
You got about
Look at it.
No, the ones that I got.
10. You got 10?
You did get that pretty big one.
All right, we're gonna move. We're going fishing now. Stand by. Let me know how you like the camera, Dave. It'll be about 10, 15 minutes before I get to my zone.
You got to turn up the volume.
Okay.
Can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, good. Okay, I've been talking to you for 20 minutes.
You have?
Yeah, we're going to stay with you. We're not doing the podcast today. You have so many people watching you. We're not going to mess it up. We're going to stay with you. So go cruise around. We'll just watch.
10-4. You hear that, Alex? You're the man, Alex. Alex is the man of the hour.
Great production, Alex. Everybody's watching, Alex, because of your great photography.
We appreciate you, Alex. All right, boys. Let me jump out. You guys jump in. I'll push this thing off. Go ahead. Need a helping hand there, kiddo?
Fight you. Play too.
Play hockey? Baseball? Football? That's smart.
Basketball.
Basketball?
Looks like the water's gonna die.
Put it on every morning. I got a lot. It's nice to have that front behind us now. It's not too bad out here. About 10 knots of breeze. Incoming tide. That's a little bit of work. Some areas, man, it's real easy. And some days it's really easy. But see how the little islands over the water now? There's no birds on there. Perfect. That means the tide's moving in. All right, here we go.
All right. Relax. All right, gang. Welcome to Captain Dave's Wheelhouse. Today we're going to talk about how to dock your boat. The simple, easy way. We're going to do it on a very small boat. We're going to do it on a 65-foot Hatteras today. Now the same thing as far as your boat goes, if you have a 20-foot twin screw or a 90-foot or a 120-foot, the same principle is going to apply. Exactly what I show you to do is going to work on whatever size boat you have. We're working strictly with twin screws today. Twin screws meaning you have two motors side by side, whether they're outboard motors or large inboard, it doesn't matter. The same concept applies. The key to docking your boat is to go as slow as you can and still make way. That means the boat's still moving forward or backwards, but you're never ever gonna wanna use your throttle, because what you're gonna learn the hard way is if you decide to use your throttle is that's when things break. That's when you hit things super hard and break things. So we're gonna try to show you exactly how to do it as smooth and as calmly as you possibly can. As we go through Dana Point Harbor here, you can notice that we're just barely moving. We're in and out of gear all the time. That way we can get around the paddle boards and the kayaks and the sailboats. Just remember, there's never a time where anybody's ever in your way. Because of the fact that you know how to drive your boat, you should never ever experience a time where a paddle board's in your way, or a sailboat's in your way, or a kayak's in your way. Like on this boat. This is a 65-foot Hatteras. My motors are as big as the guy on the paddle board right now, so how can he possibly be in my way? My motor is bigger than he is. And I also have a steering wheel, so I can drive around the paddle boards. Just because you think you need to go there where the paddle board is, stop and wait for a second for him to proceed by you. There's never a time where they're in your way, and there's never a time where you need to honk at them. Just remember, 90% of the people on the paddle boards or the kayaks aren't even from the United States of America. They're probably from some other country and they're here on vacation. And the last thing we want them to think is that we're the ugly Americans, okay? So always proceed with caution and always just take your time. And nobody can ever be in our way. They can't, it's impossible. We can stop for a minute and wait for them to paddle by. And now as we approach our dock, we're gonna talk about this boat that we're on today has no thrusters. It has no pods. We're simply gonna do it the old-fashioned way. We're gonna use the motors to park the boat. When you're coming into your dock, it's impossible to steer your boat. I'm not talking about a single screw outboard motor. I'm simply talking about a vessel with two engines. You do not, like if Mike was to pan down here right now and look at this boat, these two outboards, probably one of the easiest boats to drive. It's going to be the same exact concept as you're going to have on the big boat. Left one goes in reverse, right one goes in forward, therefore the bow will go to the right. The opposite applies, the bow will go to your left. Now as we come in here, I want Mike to show you, he's going to film my hand movement here on the shifters. As we come into the dock, never ever do we throttle up. Never do we give it any fuel. It's simply in gear and out of gear. In gear, minute the boat moves, back out of gear. Once you feel the boat starting to slide forward, you simply take them out of gear. There are no brakes on a boat. Now as I'm starting to approach the dock, if you look at the dock now, I want to put my bow dead center in the middle of the dock. I'm going to put my starboard side on the dock. So I'm putting my left engine in reverse, my right engine in forward. The bow will start to swing to the left. Now I'm back in neutral. The bow is still moving. The boat is still moving, but we're not in gear. Now we're going to simply dump the left one in reverse. That'll straighten the bow out a little bit more. Tap the right one in forward as the bow moves to your left. Now we're going to drive in on the dock. Now remember, on a boat, it's pretty far back. It's probably 10 feet back to the water, so I can actually drive the boat up over the dock without hitting the dock. I'm just tapping it in gear. Now the bow of the boat looks like it's up on top of the dock, but it's not. We still got 10 feet of the boat before we hit the dock. Now we're just slowly tapping it into reverse. The left engine, that's bringing the bow still around to the left. I'm tapping the right one in forward, bringing the bow around. As the bow slides around, get by the bait receiver there. The boat's just no, we're not in gear, we're not out of gear, we're just simply drifting right now. Now we're gonna place both engines in forward for a split second. As we feel the boat move, we're back out of gear. Boat's just drifting, no throttle necessary. We're just drifting into the dock. Drifting. I'm gonna simply tap the left one into reverse to bring my stern into the dock. Now I'm back out of gear. Boat's just barely moving. I tap both engines in forward just for a second. Now I'm gonna tap the left one in reverse, because if you look back here, the stern's just a little bit off the dock. So now we're gonna place both engines in reverse. See how we're over the top of the dinghy? But I'm gonna slip both in reverse, and now we're simply gonna slide into our dock. As we slowly back up, you see how simple that was? Simple and easy. The key to the whole thing is to go as slow as you possibly can. Speed when docking kills. Remember, speed kills. All right, gang. Now, today we're going to talk about using cut squid for bait. When you go out and you don't have live bait and you're fishing for some of that sheephead or sargo or the smaller bass, you just want your kids to catch a fish. You're going to want to take, here's your frozen squid. First thing you're going to do is you're going to cut the head off. Okay, what I do with these heads is I cut them up into little pieces and I use them for chum. Okay, because all that tentacles and stuff, that's great chum. So I'll put all that into a little bag. Okay, I'll put all that into a bag. Now I take the squid and I simply don't cut it all the way through. I cut it
I'm just
gently.
letting you guys know we have a 7-day free trial right now. It's pretty exciting. You're going to get to look at the best fishing website ever made for fishermen by a fisherman. This website has the best fishing community ever created with zero negativity. If you're tired of all the negativity out there in the world, you must check out Your Saltwater Guide. The community is full of like-minded people just like yourself that just want to go out, have fun on the water, and share their experience with everybody else. No negativity. Did I say that? No negativity. Then, the other things that come with the subscription, you got a game plan that comes out every Thursday for whatever area you're fishing in. We'll make sure that you don't suck when you go. The other thing, 3,300 spots, and I teach you how to fish each and every spot. Because if you just want GPS numbers, they're worthless if you don't know what to do when you get there. Another thing, 500 plus how-to videos, how to fish for whatever fish you like to catch. White sea bass, yellowtail, calico bass, barracuda, bonita, bluefin tuna, yellowfin tuna, dorado. We got it all. We cover everything. Halibut.
All right, gang.
You want to
now,
check out
today
this
we're going
website,
to talk
gang.
about
Absolutely
using
free.
cut squid for bait. When you go out and you don't have live bait and you're fishing for some of that sheephead or sargo or the smaller bass, you just want your kids to catch a fish. You're going to want to take, here's your frozen squid. First thing you're going to do is you're going to cut the head off. Okay, what I do with these heads is I cut them up into little pieces and I use them for chum. Okay.
There we go.
There you go. I got you.
All right, cool.
Okay. We're going fishing.
See what happens, kiddos. It's like a Snickers bar to you guys. You like Snickers bars?
Last one to catch a fish pays for dinner. You better get moving.
Okay. Youngest is up first, huh?
All right, Drew. Here, it's all you, buddy.
So with this, you don't have to do anything. Just pay attention when you get a bite. Okay? So basically we just drop it right here. Butterfly is pretty cool. So these fish like to go choo choo, jam around, right? So kind of hold it right there, and you'll feel them bite it a little bit. Just hang on, okay? There you go. Let's go all the way to the back corner. We'll get the bonefish rods out, and then I'll put the big rods out, and we'll go from there, okay?
She can look for herself.
I have a chum tube that I fill up the chum and put it out and put chum in the tube. If you guys get tired of holding it, you can always stick it in the rod holder. This is an ultralight right here, boy. It's going to really have fun with it. Side over this side over here. Get the chum tube out.
Caught some seaweed, Drew.
Better than catching it on
Unless you're looking for a shoe you lost.
This is kind of warm right here. Right?
Oh wow, that one jumped out of the water.
Hold it. Okay. So what we do is get the fish to come to us over here. That's the plan. Throw this in with the sardines. Sometimes it starts off hot and heavy. Sometimes it starts a little slow.
We get a little bit of a bounce here, boys, so just make sure you're steady. They're jumping.
Got one yet, boy?
Getting a hit.
There you go. You got one?
I got something.
Yeah. If he runs, just let him run.
Wear them out a little bit.
You got an anchor up there too, so go. If he gets too far, you want to go up there. Probably a bonefish. Yeah, it's a bonefish. Okay, leave him in the water.
Okay.
Bonefish.
Well, it's down to you or Alex.
There you go back.
Down to you or Alex catching one. Oh man, that's a fighter. That's a fighter right there. All right, what do you want? Are you going to just get kind of warm into your net? Bring in some line? Or?
No, just sweep him right in the net.
Okay.
Once he gets up there. There you go. There's number one. Okay, open the bail.
Okay.
Okay, now go to the back.
Okay.
And we're rolling.
It's not a bad
That's not a
size one.
joke that it's a fighter.
There's number one. Just like that.
No stingers on those?
No. You're not good to eat there either.
No, I imagine with the name Bone.
Yeah, right? Let me get them off here. I mean,
I learned my lesson because I tried to take a scorpion fish off a hook.
yeah,
That ocean is
yeah, you get a picture. You want a picture?
I do want a picture. It's
The easiest way to do it is this. Hold him by the right hand.
It's hip. It's good to go. You're not going anywhere, buddy. You're not going anywhere. We'll put you back in, though. Thank you.
Yep. We're going to come in live one. Couldn't even get the jump tube going.
You know your spots.
You guys have the other bite at all?
I don't think so.
Wind it up a little bit, nice and gentle, and see if you got your bait. I would go right back to you. You got your bait on this stuff, buddy? Grass had you way up in the water column. Every now and then you gotta bring it in for the grass. Wind yours up too, because it probably has a bunch of grass, did you?
Yeah, a whole bunch of grass.
Don't forget your chum tubes.
If you're talking, I can't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Hey, buddy, how are you?
Great. How you doing?
Good. So Captain Al Clowers is fishing in the back bay with a little group right now. So we're keeping an eye on what he's doing. And we're also doing our podcast at the same time. We'll only do this for like 15 minutes, talk about this weather that's coming around Southern California right now. How are you, Chris? Good to see you.
Been super busy. Now, I'm not flying anymore, but I'm full-time in TV.
Are you really?
Back to the TV gig full-time. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Look at you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're live right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So where are you doing the TV thing? Full time now.
Phoenix, Arizona.
Okay. Still in Arizona. Okay.
Yep. Working for the NBC affiliate. So any of your Phoenix people or Arizona people, make sure you watch 12 News. It's a different station than I worked at before when I was here back in 2009 to 2015. But a great group of people and a good situation. I wouldn't have got myself back into it if I didn't think it was a good situation. So it's all good.
There you are, Captain Al. What do you got?
Smooth hound.
Hey, there you go. A little shark live right here on the show.
We got one bonefish and one smooth hound.
That's a great way to start. All right. Chris and I are talking the weather, and we're watching you in the background, buddy.
Cool.
So we'll keep Al on there while we're talking, Chris.
All right.
So I got a couple of questions because we just had the most phenomenal amount of wind that we've had in a long time. 40 knots of wind, not last night, but the night before in Long Beach.
Yeah.
And now,
wind.
Now there's a bunch of tornadoes in the Midwest. Does any of that correlate with what's going on?
Yes, it does. A lot of times the weather we have on the West Coast, eventually as it makes its way across the country, develops into a strong storm. And that's what we're seeing right now. Somewhat typical of springtime. The weather kind of gets blown out sometimes in April as our Pacific storm season starts to wind down. And a lot of these storms that they'll hit Central and Northern California, and then we get the tail end of it with a lot of wind. Same thing happens in Arizona, Southern Nevada, Las Vegas. We'll get a lot of wind, Flagstaff, Arizona, and Phoenix as well. So as these systems, as they deepen and move down the West Coast and then take a left turn and then move across the country, what happens is it picks up a lot of energy or moisture from the Gulf, and then that kind of energizes it. So we have the cold air spilling down from the north and that warm, humid air flowing up from the Gulf. And that's more of an explosive combination for other parts of the country and what we're seeing, what we've seen the last couple of weeks in the Midwest. And actually the last couple of days, really nasty situation back there.
Right. Now, is this got anything to do with what they're talking about cold water this year in Southern California?
Not necessarily. I think that's just more of a symptom of currents and the weather pattern. And
hold on, Captain Al's got another fish here.
Bonefish?
What do you got there, Oh yeah, bonefish.
Yeah.
Beautiful. That's a big deal, right, Chris? Catching bonefish in San Diego Bay?
San Diego Bay bonefish. Yeah. It blew me away when I first found out about that back in the 80s. And I guess they have them up in Newport Bay and Huntington Harbor. You can catch them, find a few here and there.
It's crazy to be able to target bonefish. I was blown away when I did it last year for the first time. And now Captain Al's doing the charters back there. He's got a couple of young men and their dad, and there it is, another bonefish. That's 2 bonefish in about 10 minutes or less.
Yeah, and you don't have to get rocking and rolling and bounced around offshore either. You can do that in the comfort of the bay, even when it's blowing on the outside.
Right.
Maybe not 40 knots of wind, but it'll do.
So normally, historically, April is a windy month in Southern California. It always has been. Last year, we lost opening day of rockfish because of the wind. People forget. They got short-term memory. But the wind seems to always blow in April, right?
Yeah, then that's by my experience, and you running boats. I'm sure you have log books from years past where we got blown off the water this day, and it was just blown out on that day. March and April are typically, those boat work months as the water's kind of colder and things are off. And now recently we've had the rockfish closure that we didn't have decades ago. We didn't have the reduced limits on the bass, and water temperatures in the 50s most areas, maybe 60 degrees. But to get the bass to bite, it's got to be up into the 60s, and the calico bass spawning mode 62, 63. I don't know if you'd agree with that, but
Absolutely. No, that's totally what it is.
And that's more in May and in early June. And when the big calicos, when they get that orange spot on their face and they're in that spawning mode. And then of course the sand bass, which almost always you could count on those things every year. But I can see the validity and the point of reducing the limits, and also them contemplating a closed season for sand bass, because back in the 70s and 80s we were fishing sand bass on the flats during their spawning run, when they would concentrate, and it was almost like, I don't want to say shooting fish in a barrel, but it was almost like that. They were very easy to catch, and you could catch a 10 fish limit. And some of the boats would go out and fish the flats overnight, and then go out and fish the islands in the daytime. And 2 days and we've got double limits, or something like that. So water temperatures are really kind of cold right now. It is typically a windy time of the year. And once we get into May, I think things will start to turn around, especially locally. And then, late May into June is where things really start to perk back up. But it's been encouraging to see signs of anchovy in the bait receivers. I've heard a lot of talk about that. And, it's like old times again. You're going to have to learn how to cast a pinhead anchovy in fly line. Can't totally rely on the sardines. So maybe things are shifting back around. Maybe it's changing back around a little bit, with more on those staples that we used to rely on all the time. The barracuda. When was the last time we saw 1,000 fish barracuda day on one of the fish reports? It's cycles. And
there you go. That's
I think
the key. It's cycles. Everything's cyclical.
But I think the cycles that we've seen in the last couple of decades have changed a little bit. We're not going to cycle back to where we were in the 50s and the 60s. We're probably going to cycle back to where we were 20 years ago, as opposed to 40 years ago, because there has been an overall change. Speaking of some of the exotics, did you see the picture of the Cortez angel that was caught in Dana Point Harbor the other day?
Yes, on the back of the Clemente.
Yeah. When was the last time that happened? Has that ever happened?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
Kind of strange stuff.
I think a lot of the stuff that we've seen in the last 12 years is because of the warm water. You and I grew up working on the boat. We never saw 70-degree water, 80-degree water in Southern California for 12 years straight.
Yeah, never. 70 was just unheard of. Things like salmon. I was thinking of this the other day. Actually, I was having some salmon for lunch. Do you ever catch any salmon when you were running boats?
Oh, yeah. We actually had a season in Dana Point. They'd come into that canyon right there in front of the harbor, and we'd actually catch them.
Yeah. And I saw a 20-pound king salmon caught at the Horseshoe Kelp when I was like my third or fourth half-day trip ever. And I thought, wow, that's incredible. They used to catch them at the Coronado Islands occasionally. I don't know when the last time a salmon was caught in Southern California.
Yeah, well, we've been in that warm water cycle. They don't like that. They don't like that hot water.
No, not at all. So, things have changed. Things will always change. It's just how it's changing is a little bit different. We just need to adjust to the changes.
Right. So then what do you think we're looking at because last year you were pretty right on when we talked to you in the beginning of April with weather. So what are we looking at? What do you think everyone can plan on having? Do you think it's going to be a windy season? You think we're going to get to calm down July and August and have some fun? Or what do you think? What does it look like to Chris Dunn right now?
Yeah, well, and I've taken a look at some of the season outlooks as far as, well, it only goes so far as to kind of project out temperature and precipitation for the summer season, not necessarily wind. And we can't really drill down to specific days or even specific weeks. It's kind of a broad generalization for the season. But it looks like things are shaping up to be somewhat normal, whatever normal is. So once we get into June, we'll start to see those typical June gloom days where it's calm in the morning, overcast, and then the wind picks up in the afternoon in Southern California bite. We'll have a couple of windy episodes offshore, but generally speaking, kind of normal weather, what you would expect. Back in the day, there was always that, this is albacore weather. It's cold, it's windy, it's rough.
Right.
And we'll have some of that offshore too. But with the way things have been going, I don't know if we will really see much of an influx of yellowfin tuna and Dorado this year like we have in years past. Just the water's been cold and it's been staying cold for quite a while.
Right, and it goes deep this year. Talk to the divers and stuff, and that cold water goes all the way to the bottom this year. And I would be very interested to see what that water temperature is today. You can't judge it by where Al's at in the back bay, but I'd like to know what the water temperature is out in front of Newport Harbor or out in front of Dana Point today, because I'll bet you it's pretty dang cold. That wind blew so flipping hard, and it was so cold.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, when the wind blew, it didn't get cold. It was way different than what you and I grew up with, because the water was warm all the way to the bottom, where this year it's cold from the top to the bottom.
Well, and we have this whenever there's, as you kind of described it, cold water upwelling, where there's cold water down below. And when the top layers gets blown off, that colder water comes up. That's why when you go down to San Martin Island or Colonette or some of those places where it's really windy, typically, the water's really cold. It's kind of green and off color, and it could be 59 degrees even in July. So there's a lot of turning over of the water. But if there isn't any warm water current to replace that, or any source of warmer water down below, all it's doing is just turning over cold water and just kind of replacing that, and kind of in a cold water replacement cycle. I'm going to bring up, because you asked, let's see, water temperatures. I'm looking on my website right now, and I have a Southern California buoys, a quick glance, and it has all of the water temperatures right now. At a Santa Monica Bay, 52.9. Oceanside,
Woo-hoo!
Oceanside is 56.7. Mission Bay buoy is 57. Point Loma, 57. San Pedro, 53. The San Clemente Basin buoy offshore is 58 degrees. San Nick is 53. So, yeah, it's kind of cold all over.
Yeah, it is.
I don't see anything above 60.
Yeah, and that's been a long time since we've seen that in Southern California, gang. Long time. One of our members, one of our viewers over on YouTube right now, because we're live on YouTube, Jason Cutter, is, Chris, what do you think of the weather apps like Windy and Buoy Weather? Are those things pretty close to being accurate? Would you go with what they're saying?
Yeah, you know what windy.com, and I have one of their maps embedded on my website too.
Okay.
Thefishingweatherman.com. What it does, it takes computer model output and kind of the blended and the operational the model, and it puts it into a format that's a little more visually pleasing and understandable. So you're not looking at the 500 millibar height contours and vorticity, blah 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 blah. That can get kind of confusing. So we'll color code it, and we'll put in streamlines, and we'll make it nice and pretty for people to really understand what's going on.
hold
Do we
your
have
fish
another fish
through?
on deck?
Hold on a second. Captain Al, you got another bonefish?
A big old smelt this time.
Oh, wow. There you go. Something different. A schmelt. All right. Back to what you were saying about how easy that Windy is to work with.
Yeah, it's user friendly. The graphical user interface is easy to use and easy to understand. And I think it's really caught on. And so, model output is only as good as the model run itself and the initialization and the data that goes in, garbage in, garbage out. So as long as we have good data to put into those models and it's running and continuing to improve, and these forecast models have gotten so much better in the last 20, 30 years, the accuracy has gotten a lot better. You can see large scale trends develop and drill it down to the small scale as well. We're talking on a scale of 4 or 5 kilometers, or a couple of miles of the grid spacing. So we can get pretty good resolution with some of these forecast models. And when you look at it in a graphical format or in a map format, typically it does pretty well. Once you get beyond about 5 to 6 days, then the skill kind of goes out the window and it reverts back to more climatology. So, about 5 to 7 days time out is about the limit. Don't look at something that's 2 weeks away or 10 days out and say, this is exactly what's going to happen, because it probably won't.
Okay. Well, there you go, Jason. Hopefully that answers your question on that.
Newport Buoy, you have another, someone on Facebook says Newport Buoy is reporting water temperature 54 degrees.
That is cold. That is cold.
Time to go fishing for the black cod or something cold and something deep.
Yeah, and today, finally, a few of the sport boats were able to get out there, because the first 2 days of the season, they couldn't get out there and fish rockfish. But I'm seeing a few reports coming in, but I'll bet you it's still a little dicey out there after 40 knots of wind yesterday. I bet it's still a little lumpy out there.
Yeah, the sea, it gets angry, and it takes a little while for it to get back into its equilibrium. So it's the rockfish opener. Everybody, I guess, after a couple of months of being closed, they're jonesing for just to wet a line and get something to fill the freezer back up. And I get it. And this year, a little bit different twist, right? It's all depths. There's no depth.
Yeah, it's open to every depth till September 19th.
Interesting.
Yeah, but you can't keep the stuff in that 600 foot of water, but you can kill them.
Yeah. Cow cod.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't make
if you
any
pull
sense,
something up
really.
from way down below, even with the descending devices that they have, the chance of survival, I think, is pretty low.
Yeah, they don't want us talking about truth. That's the last thing. But here I have some really big conspiracy theory people on my podcast all the time, and you've answered this question before, but they keep asking it over and over again. Chris, what do you think of cloud seeding?
Cloud seeding is a real thing, but chemtrails is not a real thing. I want to make that distinction. There are people out there that believe that airlines and planes are spraying the skies with chemicals that are raining down on us and making everybody sick. That's just simply not true. Now, we can artificially try to induce precipitation by seeding clouds. If a cloud is already there, if we drop condensation nuclei into the cloud, something that the moisture wants to attach onto, and if it gets heavy enough, it will drop out, precipitate out in the form of rain or snow, then that is a real thing. In fact, fog dispersal operations happen all the time in places like Salt Lake City, where they can get the fog to clear out by dropping silver iodide or other organic type of particles into the cloud or the fog. So yes, the results are debatable. Whether or not it's effective, you don't really know, because you don't have a control next to it. Say, this is what happens when we seed a cloud. This is what happens when we don't seed it. You don't know if it's really going to enhance it or not, but it's a real thing. But we can't make weather happen. We can't manufacture it. We can't just poof, here it is. There's a cloud and it's going to start raining.
Yeah, what I was really talking about was, we know that they can make it. We know they can seed the clouds. That's all real. I was talking about the chemtrails. You guys have to understand, Chris, besides being an epic fisherman and a great weatherman, he also is a pilot who flies those big giant planes you see up in the air that are spreading those chemtrails around. So that's why I like to say that when you're on here.
Yeah, and I've been around aviation for 30 years or so, and I have a lot of friends who are pilots and airlines, and I've flown, and I've delved into the science of meteorology as well. So I kind of have it from both angles. And hey, I'm one of you. I've been a fisherman on the ocean in the Pacific since 1980. So, and I worked on the boats. So I'm not trying to spread any disinformation, and I'm not paid by the government for any kind of cover up. It's just, what the truth is out there, and that's what it is.
Yeah,
If you have any,
I like to give my buddy Matt a bunch of crap. We play with each other all the time, but yeah, there's so many people out there that talk about chemtrails all the time, and all I know is I've been on the planet for 63 years, and ever since I was a little boy, when you'd look up in the sky, you would see those trails going through, and I don't know what happened between 1975 and 2025, but when we were kids, we were told that was condensation.
Yeah.
When the plane's flying through the sky at such a fast speed and it's making that vapor trail. Now, 2025, it's no longer a vapor trail, it's a chemtrail. I'm sorry, I don't know, Chris, maybe you could help us understand what's a chemtrail.
It's an attempt to explain something that people don't understand, or they see something and they believe something to be true. And the argument that people have had with me is, well, it's obvious, it's plain as day. You can look up there and see it's chemicals they're spreading. And that's 5-6 miles away. It's 35,000 feet up there. How can you prove to me? We have another bonefish.
Hold on.
Breaking news.
Captain Al Clowers. Another bonefish. Who caught that bonefish? All right. That's a big day, buddy. You got to remember this day. The day you caught your first bonefish. That's a big day. Not too many people. Not too many people.
We just had a huge one jump off the shark rock.
Wow. How fun. Chris and I are talking weather. We got to pay more attention to what's going on Al's boat.
What are they using for bait? Ghost shrimp?
Yeah, he caught a bunch of ghost shrimp before you and I went on live. He was in the back bay catching them. Why? There's so much stuff going on YouTube right now because we're live on YouTube and I'm reading them and they're these guys are 100% against you, Chris, on this chemtrail thing. They are.
Okay, well, get up in an airplane and fly directly behind one of those jets and measure the chemical composition of what's coming out or what you're seeing up there. And then you can have a scientific discussion about what makes up the contrails that we're seeing in the sky.
Well, come on. Their sisters, brothers, aunts, cousin told them that they were real. So come on. And they're going to fight to the death about these things because they're real. So
yeah. And sheephead don't change sex either.
Yeah. I'm just having fun with you guys. Don't get too emotional here. Don't get too emotional. We're having fun. Remember, smile. Don't start hating me. I just want to bring it up because Chris is the pilot that flies in those big planes that are making these vapor trails in the sky that I always love it when they say, oh, look at all the chemtrails, Dave. I'm like, oh my gosh, I should be dead right now. If that's true, I shouldn't even be here. Besides all the stuff I did in the 70s, if these chemicals are raining down on me for 63 years, I should not be here.
Slowing down over here.
And then George Norrie said that they're absolutely true.
Oh, well, then that's the absolute truth right there.
I love listening to George Norrie in the middle of the night when I'm driving across country. He's so fun to listen to.
Hey, let's talk about fishing. That's why I like to talk about fishing and fun stuff and ocean and all of that good stuff. We can kind of go out there. The good thing about getting out on the water, and I don't know if you agree with me, you probably would, but you get away from all the distractions of life and the stresses, the day-to-day job and all of the stuff on social media. You can just go out and enjoy a day on the water.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing like it.
Look at the scenery and enjoy the pelicans and the seals and the Okay, well, that gets off into another discussion too about the sea lions and the. Okay, but you know, it's everything. Just take it all in.
Catfish in the lake.
Yeah, try to go have fun, right?
Yeah.
Hey, boats on. Yep.
I mean, it's so funny that this stuff is going on out there, and I just want to try to remember that we're so blessed that we have the Pacific Ocean right in our backyard, and we can all go out fishing all the time and enjoy life and get off the internet, like you just said, and go do fun stuff. I do that to you every time you're on the show about the chemtrail thing. So you know me, I just enjoy it. I have fun, and the comments are pouring in right now. So it's, you know me, I just want the views, baby.
Yeah, you're just feeding into the machine. Get those engagements, right?
Absolutely. What do you got, Captain Al? What's going on there, Al? Uh-oh, he's
frozen. Yeah.
There he is.
He's checking his camera.
What's up, Captain Al? Nope. No volume. All right.
What do you make of the I don't know, a couple of weeks ago there was apparently allegedly a spotter plane that was down 75 miles down the coast looking at huge areas of bluefin tuna, and it was all over the place and just waiting for the boats to get down there, but nobody's been able to get down there because it's been windy, and I think there have been one or two boats that kind of passed through the area and they didn't see anything, and they ended up fishing lingcod and reds off of Colonette. Have you heard of anything? Oh, we have another fish.
Yes, we do. What do you got, Captain Al? Another bonefish. Bonefish. Woo! Heck yeah. So here's what I try to tell my people, because we have 5,000 people on my website that are asking me this kind of stuff all the time. And yeah, gang, we're going to piss the industry off here again. Remember, we didn't even think about fishing for tuna, Chris, when we were kids until July. And Bill Poole used to say, light off the fireworks and go tuna fishing.
Albacore. Yeah.
Yeah. And I believe that the industry got spoiled with, not that we're making any money because gas prices or diesel prices take care of that, but they got spoiled with having out bluefin tuna in April and May, and now they're not here. So yeah, they got to try to get the people to charter the boats to go fishing, because people don't want to catch a rockfish anymore. They just want to catch 100-pound bluefin so they can show their friends. So you got to we got a big fish going right now.
Yeah, we got a hookup.
Big whopper. Hold on.
You on there? Yeah. Good. You on there? I like that.
Picture's better when you and I are on here. We can see them. Might have that big bat ray they were looking for.
Gonna need the fighting chair pretty soon.
It's a big one, rail rod.
Holy cow.
I've heard a couple of holy cows. That means something good, right?
I think big bat ray or big shovel nose. Shovel nose?
There you go, boy.
There you go. That's what they wanted. They wanted some cool sharks. Big shovel nose shark. Big shovel nose.
I'll see you in a minute. Let me get this guy under control, man.
So I think a lot of that bluefin thing, Chris, is hype to get people to go buy a ticket to go fishing.
Yeah, you got it right here.
Well, in the last couple of years, they have caught bluefin at this time. It kind of started up around the end of March, early April. So it's not, I guess, way out of the norm from what's been happening recently. But yeah, historically, this is way early to start thinking about tuna fishing and offshore. And I remember seeing, I think it was last year, there were some boats advertising 3-day offshore trips targeting yellowtail, tuna, and dorado in May.
Yeah, I don't think we got to worry about that this year.
Yeah, no. But maybe this is the year that things the whole system in the Eastern Pacific gets knocked on its head, and the albacore forget that they are supposed to go to Washington and Oregon, and they come back to their old stomping grounds. Who knows?
That's a big.
That's a beautiful guitar fish. Beautiful shovel-nosed shark.
Down,
Crowd pleaser for sure.
That's what they wanted.
And they got it. They got what they
one.
wanted.
They got one. Be prepared for a big one, 5-footer.
Targeted species. So can we stream your weather forecast every day?
Yes, you can. If you go to the 12 News app, or there's 12 Plus, which is a streaming app for Roku and Apple TV and Fire Stick, you can watch any of our newscasts anytime or on demand, and also on the 12 News app whenever there's a live weathercast or recorded weathercast, we have that information up there as well. It's 12news.com is the website for that.
All right, there you go, gang. You can go over there and check out what Chris is talking about and the weather. We were talking when you guys weren't on here when we first started. We were talking about the weather that just came through Southern California, and now it's in the Midwest, and it's the tornado watches that I was seeing this morning look terrifying.
And there was yesterday the Storm Prediction Center had an outlook, which is they rank it on a threat level of 1 to 5. And rarely do they ever put a level 5 or the most extreme threat level. And that was yesterday. And there were a number of tornadoes. And unfortunately, I think there was at least one death. So really serious weather situation going on in the Midwest. And that's all from the stormy weather that started out along the West Coast and in Southern California. And it crosses the country, and it takes advantage of a little bit better, a different weather setup and combination of climate factors that all come together at just the right place. And, I think it's 90% of all the world's tornadoes happen in the United States, because we have just the perfect confluence of everything that comes together just right. So lucky us, we get more tornadoes than anywhere else on Earth.
Yeah, I just saw a documentary on Netflix. It's called Twister, not the TV, not that movie Twister. This was an actual documentary, and it was incredible what it did to that town, what it did on those children's graduation day.
Oh, that was the Joplin, Missouri tornado.
Yes. Oh, it took the whole town out.
Yeah, it was really horrific.
Wiped the town off the map, and there was one young man that got caught in the tornado and went flying out, ripped him out of his car, went flying through the air, and then some unbelievably weird deal from the plants that were ripped out of the swamp there. It got into his body and affected and flesh eating. It's just crazy. The whole series was just amazing.
Yeah, tornadoes, if you live in a tornado area and you have a tornado threat, it's a pretty scary thing. And growing up in SoCal like I did, we had maybe 1 or 2 scares because of occasionally a winter storm will come through. Maybe a brief tornado might spin up and do a little bit of damage, but nothing like what they see in the Midwest. And I've lived in a couple of places that do get heavy duty tornadoes, and it's a pretty scary thing. That and hurricanes too. You wouldn't know anything about hurricanes though, where you are, Dave, right?
No, only every year. I have a big 12 kW generator hardwired into my house.
That's the way to do it.
It's absolutely crazy. The really cool thing about it, when we first moved here in 2018, I went to Home Depot and I bought this big generator and I put it under my stairwell in my house. And my wife saw, "What do we need that for?" I go, "You'll see. You'll see." And we lose power all the time, or they shut power down when it's coming. And we're the only house in the neighborhood that still has our refrigerator and our lights and our air conditioner. And when it's hurricane time down here, it is so flipping hot. It is hot, sticky, muggy. And when that air goes off, the wife, she doesn't have a sense of humor about that.
No. And that's, those are the conditions that fuel those tropical systems: hot, humid, the hot water, and that all feeds into it. And when the power goes off, believe you me, you want to have that power kick back on for the AC.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's that I thought outside the box, but it came back to working on the boats and knowing how important power was. And I got the electrician to hardwire it. I got for lack of a better word, I got like a shore cord plugs
Yeah.
into right into the wall of my house, and that generator sets in the driveway, and it's just thank you, thank you, thank you. But hurricanes are a terrifying thing. We got hit with one last year that hit us right smack in the mouth, but it was only a little one. It was only a Cat 3, but it'll make you stand up straight.
Yeah.
You
Well, and you know, with I don't know how the water temperatures are. I haven't looked down around the tip of Baja California, but if it's cooler like it is up the line, then that may result in a quieter hurricane season. You know, we look at El Nino and La Nina. There was a weak La Nina that's been transitioning to ENSO neutral conditions this winter and into the summer. So it's neither going to be La Nina nor El Nino this year. It'll be kind of in between. So, you know, we can't really point to one factor versus another that could drive a hurricane season or could drive water currents or could drive large scale weather patterns.
Okay. Well, that was my next question. And thank you for that, because it seems like it's much cooler down here than it's been in the years past already in April. And the water right now, we've had wind literally every single day for a week and a half, like a lot of wind. So the water is 65 here in Cabo, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, if they, you know, the currents really drive things, even if you have a lot of upwelling. If there's the major current that takes over the northward flowing current, that could bring the warm water back in, and that could negate all of the wind that you've recently had, and that could also hold true for northern Baja too. So we'll have to look at that. But I think I saw a report from one of the boats that was down at the rocks, and they were fishing the rocks late season, or maybe one of the longer trips. They made a stop there, and the water temperatures were in the low to mid 60s, even at the rocks. So, you know, it's pretty chilly up and down the coast for this time. This time of the year is typically the coldest time of the year for water temperatures, but it's colder than it has been in recent years.
Yeah, I think we're going to be okay this year. It just seems to look that way anyway. It just seems like we're in a little colder. I hope so, because it sucks. And Kelly has no sense of humor about it. She has no sense of humor. The other thing that she doesn't have a sense of humor about is when we run out of water. That she doesn't get that either.
Yeah, that's a tough one. We kind of need water though.
She's from Southern California, though. When we first moved here, Chris, and the day that we officially ran out of water, she's like, "What do you mean we're out of water?" I'm all, "Babe, the tank's empty." "What tank? What are you talking about?" I go, "There's a tank underneath our driveway that holds 250 gallons of water, and it's empty." And she's used to Southern California. You turn the spigot on, you let it run for an hour while you're letting the water get warm before you jump in the shower.
So the concept of a Navy shower, it comes into play. Use that water conservatively.
Yeah, not at my house. You have to pick your battles. That's not a battle I'm going to have with her. Okay. Take as long a shower as you want. We buy water every Thursday. I get that cistern in the driveway filled up every Thursday. It's just, not worth it. Hey, baby, just get wet, turn off the water, lather up, and then, she's not doing that. Work. That's not going to happen.
A new question came in. Do our armed forces have their own personalized weather forecasting, or do they use NOAA? To the best of my knowledge, a lot of the NOAA data that is gathered is used by the DoD. So a lot of the weather observations that are taken at airports, for example, are also taken at Army airfields and Air Force bases and Navy bases and put through the rest of the system. They do use their own meteorologists and their own forecasters, but they also use a great deal of NOAA data, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, their data that goes into a lot of this, and the forecast models too that generate this output are utilized by the government and disseminated through all the various governmental agencies. So it's, one government agency feeding into another one. They're not exclusive. They kind of work in partnership.
Oh, that's good to know. And then we're all privy to all that information on the NOAA website. Do you use that website too?
I use some products from them. And really it's the local National Weather Service offices that provide a lot of the insight. I look at the area forecast discussion as kind of a second opinion before I make a forecast. There's a lot of in-depth, very technical information in that product. It's the AFD, or area forecast discussion. If you actually have links to that on my website, but if you just Google that, and the identifier of the office that you want to look at. So, for example, the Los Angeles area, LOX is the identifier for the Weather Service office there, and for San Diego, it's SGX is the identifier for the National Weather Service office for San Diego, SGX. So you type in forecast discussion SGX AFD, and then that'll be probably the first thing that pops up. Or you can just go to my website and click on the links that I have there.
Yeah, that's
And
what I would
bookmark
tell
those.
everybody. Go to Chris's website. He's going to give it to you all one last time, and we're going to let Chris go so he can get ready for his big show today. And
Yeah.
we're going to go watch Al for the rest of the day here fishing live, gang. Chris, thank you so much for always taking time. I feel like I told everybody yesterday, when you come on my show, it just makes me feel smarter.
I think the same thing about you, Dave.
I'm sure.
All right. Thefishingweatherman.com is my website, and 12 News is the TV station I work for in Phoenix, Arizona. You should check us out anytime. We're online. The internet is open 24 hours a day. And the website, if you find one of the pages on there that you like one of the graphical forecast or a text forecast or forecast discussion, bookmark it. And you can always come right back to it every single time. A lot of good, useful information. I didn't just fill it with a bunch of junk to have it on there. It's stuff that I would use on a daily basis if I was making decisions to take a boat out to, say, from Newport to Catalina, or go fish the Huntington Flats, or going out on an open party trip offshore on a day and a half trip or so. So a lot of good information on that page, I would say.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Chris. Everybody that tuned in, thank you for watching today. We're going to jump back over to Captain Al now. Chris and I are going to leave you guys, and we'll watch Al for a while. Have a great afternoon, Chris. Thank you very much.
Good luck, Al. Catch 'em.
Captain Al. I don't want you to do it. I'm just showing you it.